Hello and welcome back to my farm, and it's time for one of my expansion videos. So let's open up one of those areas just across the road, and thank you very much for you guys and girls who have actually given me some expansion material. Now, I still can't do these last two areas, which is not a problem, okay, because my friend has promised me that they will let me have some more deeds later, which is cool. Now, the main reason for this video today is not for me to focus on this area, but for me to focus on the rest of my farm, because I've had a request. And this request is, hey Ricky, could you please show me how to remodel a farm? I want to see what it's like, the kind of things that you think about when you're doing it, and I would like to see your farm look a lot different than it is at the moment. So please, please, please remodel your farm for me. Now, I thought deeply about this, and I was still thinking deeply about this until maybe a couple of days ago. And then I thought, hey, why not? It's about time that I responded to this request and started doing something. Now, I've had my farm design and layout for quite some time, and I'm really comfortable with it. I know where all my machines are located, I know where my animal pens are, I know where my crops are going to grow, etc., etc., etc. Now, once you do start to redesign your farm, as I'm about to do, you will find that you go to the area where your machines used to be and it's no longer there. So, oh my god, I really have to start getting used to my new layout again very, very soon. Now, what am I going to do? Now, that's an interesting question. Now, within this video, you will notice that it will stop and start, and then it will move ahead to a different time interval, and then a lot of work will be done. Now, there's a specific reason for this. One, the length of the video. If I actually recorded myself doing every change, oh my god, this video would be so long and it would take me hours to upload it, and you guys will be just watching me moving tree or bush or object around for hours and hours and hours and hours, and you will say, oh my god, no, please, no more lemon trees being shifted from one place to another. So I'm going to stop and start regularly, especially doing like bite-sized chunks. So please do take that into consideration when you're watching, and don't say, hey, you lost part of the video. It's on purpose. Right, now what am I doing at the moment? Well, the first thing I need to do is to start clearing some space. Now, I have a lot of trees, and I want to move these trees out of the way. Now, where can I put them? Well, thankfully, ever since we had the last update, we've got this beautiful little area just across the road here. Now, it's not fully expanded, which is not a problem. As I said, I'm going to do that later. But it's ideal for me at the moment to start adding some trees, and then maybe thinking a little bit later about how I can lay it out. So this is what I'm actually doing at the moment. I'm starting to shift the trees. Now this is what I've got done so far. So I've moved lots of the lemon trees down to this area, and it's created some space at the back. Now the reason it's created the space is because the back trees are now moving to where the other trees used to be. And there's a reason for this. This whole corner piece that I'm doing at the moment, I want to use this area for storing all of my machines as I move other aspects of my farm around. And if I put all the machines in the one location, it's going to make it much easier for me to then jig my farm and then relay things out as I move around the back part, come down the top part of it, all the way down to the right hand side, then come back towards the center again. Now, why did I not just move all the trees down? Well, at the moment it's kind of challenging. So moving all the trees down, it means you've got to scroll from one part of the screen to another part of the screen. The game doesn't really allow you to pick up more than one object. So when you're moving the trees, it is really time consuming. And then you get it all the way down and you let it go, and all of a sudden it jumps all the way back and says you can't put it there because the screen was still moving when you let it go and its final position was on top of something else. You know what it's like when you move an object and you end up with that like red glow, you can't put it here kind of option. So this is a slow process, and gradually it's starting to come along. Now, as I said, I'm moving all the machines into one area. Now, a little bit later I might jig them around just to make it more compact, but at the moment it's just pushing them out the way and making more and more space. Now, I did try to move some of the machines from within these trees, but when I tried to do that, I found that the trees were in the way. So I think I'm going to have to start shifting more and more trees around before I can actually get to the rest of the machines that are hidden. Especially considering every time I try to move something, it says not enough space here, not enough space. So when you're actually starting to do this yourself, you will find that sometimes it's beneficial to turn the machine or in a different angle. That way it will fit into any slots. Okay, I've jumped ahead again and I've moved more trees down, as you can see. And it's all about moving it in different stages. I've moved a lot more trees down towards the center of the farm. I've moved my honey trees and bushes down as well. And there's one thing I did notice, that when I started separating the honey hives from the actual nectar bushes, the bees were not on the nectar bushes as long as they would be if the bushes were much closer. So the further away those nectar bushes are from the tree, the less time they actually spend on the bushes, and it was really interesting to watch. Now, I've got lots of decoration on the farm, and I've decided to start putting it all back into stock. So this is what I'm doing here now in this part of the video. So I'm just moving around. Most of the machines are now moved over to the left hand side, but I've got all this decoration in the way. So I need to clear that out the way, and I'm not binging it, I'm just putting it into stock. And maybe I will use it again later, maybe not. I'm not quite sure yet. Now, my horses and donkeys, they sure look surprised. So, hey, the fence is gone. Hey, the buggies are gone. What's going on? We can start running around a lot more. And they seem quite pleased with this. That's why the donkey's laughing his head off. Now, I did notice one thing about moving my farm around. I actually found a piece of land later that I didn't know that I'd misplaced, and it was growing crops that I hadn't harvested for a long time. So sometimes moving your buildings and things around allows you to find missing items that you actually did not realize that were missing. So it was a good idea to do this. Okay, I'm almost done getting rid of all of my decorations. Now, this path I'm going to be using again later, because I really do like that, and it's quite beneficial because it doesn't take up a lot of space. Right, that's all of the ornaments done. So, what else do I need to start moving around? Yep, everything's cleared and put away. Right, now zooming out. Here you can see where I've lumped all of the machines together, and it really looks ugly. So I will not leave it looking like this for too long. But at the moment I can't lay everything out because they just take up too much space. What I really need to do is to start shifting these buildings over, getting rid of all of these trees, moving the pens again over, and then moving the animal shelters as well, because everything is still taking up too much space again. I think I'm going to have to start shifting these things around. Now, even though I am moving things around, I still need to continue producing items, especially when the derby's about to start very soon, and I'm probably going to be doing some truck orders. I'll say one thing, having all these machines in this one area like this, it's really difficult to try and find the machine that you want to work with. Okay, now I've been moving the animals out the way. So I've moved the horses, I've moved the dogs and the cats over, and now I'm just moving the puppies and the kittens. So that's all done. So this area is now clear. So I can start clearing up and shifting this all around as well. Now at the moment, okay, this slot is still open and my pets are all in the wrong location, so I need to call them over. And my little puppy's now going to run all the way across my farm, past the cats hiding in the bushes, past the foxes and the kitten, and he's going to go to his little play area. If you don't call the animals over, they will just sit where your animal pens or shelters used to be. So you do need to blow the whistle just to move them out the way. Actually, it doesn't make much of a difference, because even if you leave them where they are, you can still put buildings and other objects down on top of them, and they will just appear on top or they will be underneath. It all depends. Right, I've shifted a lot more and things are starting to feel a lot more comfortable for me. But what shall I focus on next, I wonder? Now, the key area I wanted to do first is this back corner. Now, I kind of don't like this back corner in many ways because it's really a pain sometimes to try and find any trees that are put back there. So what I've decided to do is to put my barn in that back corner. Oh, and by the way, Camilla, thank you very much, and there is a thank you letter off to you for reviving my bush. Right, as I was saying, I was going to be putting my barn in this back corner. Now, I will still be putting some trees around it, but the design I'm going to go for means that I won't be harvesting any of those trees that are in that area. And then this is what I've chosen. So the barn is actually close to the dock, and I'm quite satisfied with that position. I put my dairy in the corner as well, with a nice little pathway leading up between the trees. And I've used these trees, so apple trees in the back corner, and then some cherry trees just down below, and then some lemon trees off to the side. Now, I kind of like the way I've mixed my trees in there, and I think it really looks good. You'll notice as well where I've put the actual cow pens. Now, those cow pens will stay there. Now, the pigs and the sheep, I kind of like the angle that I've got here, but I'm not entirely satisfied about the chickens. I'm not entirely satisfied with the goats. Now, I do have the option of getting another goat pen if I want to, because we can have 3. But I really don't need the 3 pens. I'm quite satisfied with the 2. So I think I may leave the cows where they are. I might just shift them over a little bit more. I think maybe I will leave the sheep where they are as well. Now, the next area I'm going to work on is this mine area. Now, I have some smelters, I have the jewelers, and I don't want them really too far away from the mine, but I still want to create something that's a little bit more artistic. Now, in the past, I had my smelters behind the trees, so you couldn't really see them. Now, this time when I'm actually going to put the smelters down, I've changed my concept design, because I saw something on someone else's farm that I really liked. And I did think, hey, that's a good idea. And I like the way they blended their smelters with their animal pens. So I'm going to be doing the same. And I'm going to be using that kind of like diagonal effect across the farm for that. But before I can do that, I need to start shifting my trees around and then giving myself that space and then seeing how it lays out. Right, now I need a bit of a walkway here, so the animal pens need to move down. Now, I think having a walkway between the pens is much more beneficial sometimes. Now, when you actually start doing something like this yourself, now you may do many designs. You may think, no, I'm not satisfied with that. And I've gone through this stage as well. I've shifted the pens around, put them in different positions. I thought about having them near my path again and thought, nah, I don't like this. And I put them back to the position they are. Now, okay, here we are. I've moved a lot of the trees around. I've got my cow pens nicely hidden there. I've got some good trees partially covering up the mine. But again, I'm really satisfied with the look it's starting to come up with now. Now you'll notice there where I've put my smelters. As I said, I'm going to go with this diagonal pattern. And look at it. It kind of looks pretty cool. Now I've removed one of the pig pens, and I've removed the chickens and the goats, and I've moved all of my land pieces over to this corner. And this is where I realized that, hey, I found another piece of land that I didn't know I had, and I brought it back into this area. Now I kind of made a face there, and I'm going to be leaving that face for some time because I want to see what it looks like where I start adding the crops and then working out the time. And I'm going to try and work it so that the crops all finish just after each other, and then the face kind of appears as if by magic with different colors. And I think that's going to be a nice little project for me to work on later. Okay, for example, now we've just come back to the video again. Earlier it was all yellow, now it's a mixture of greens and reds and whites. So I'm going to have a lot of fun. And I kind of like the way I've done this. I've got some trees down the side. I've got my solo just there to the back. I've put my bushes as a diagonal piece coming down. So this diagonal that I had starting from the mine is now coming all the way down into the bottom corner. And I'm really satisfied with that. Okay, what I've done as well is I've moved my chicken pens to the side of the road, and I've put my pets on the other side to give it a more balanced effect. I'm thinking about putting my goats down near the cow, and sorry, not near the cow, near the pigs and the chickens as well. But I'm not quite sure how I'm going to have that layout. Now the machines I'm starting to spread out a little bit as well, because I want to see how they're going to look in this open area I've got on the left hand side. But as you can see here, as I'm moving around, I've done quite a bit. I've moved things around a lot more. The diagonal is still there for my pathway coming in. I've put my horses and donkeys very, very close to my house. And again, I'm really satisfied with that look. And it's really starting to impress me. And I can see now in my mind the way that my mind has been thinking. Okay, now I've always wanted a coffee area, and this is the kind of first layout. So I put down a lot of paving slabs here. I've got my hive tree in the corner so I can provide honey for my coffee kiosk as well. I've also put down there in that same area my ice cream and many other machines that maybe a visitor might drive along the road and think, oh, I fancy an ice cream, I fancy a shake or something, and they can get it in this area. Now, I'm kind of not satisfied with the way the path area is looking, and I want to make it more decorative in that area. So I'm going to rip up half of that path, and I'm then going to add a few more ornaments and decorations, as you will see in a few minutes. I also wanted to keep the machine separated from my pets. So what I've done as well is put some of the berry bushes just behind my pets. I've used quite a few berry bushes as well up against my animal pens to give it a nice better balance as well, and I'm liking the way this is coming along a lot more. Now I don't really want to clutter up this area. I want to keep it very simple, because at some other stage as well, even though I'm messing around with this face image at the moment, I want to also be able to rearrange my land and not lose. Now the only trouble is I'm starting to fill up my barn a lot more, so I need to sell off a lot more things because I'm having too much fun growing items in this area and seeing how the timings work out if I plant crops. Maybe someone can suggest some designs as well. So at the moment I've got a face, but what kind of design would you like me to make in this area using the plots of land? This I'm going to put out to you all. Tell me what you would like, and I will try and set up a design using the land. I think that could be quite cool. Now the new derby has started, as you can see, and the task I chose is 60 wool. Now, I've also got another project ongoing at the moment, so every time I'm doing visitors for a patron, I'm taking screenshots. Now, you've just noticed there that I've just done another visitor. This one I'm sending away, but I'm really getting close to my patronage free. Okay, now, you've just noticed there I put the tractor back in, And the reason I've done that, because it gives that feel there a really fantastic style of image. As I said, I wanted to change the decoration around in this area, so I took half the path up, I put down my pearl of the sea, I've added some more of the ornaments that we get in as prizes, and I'm starting to enjoy this now. It's really looking cool. Now, I'm not satisfied with this bottom corner, so I'm going to be moving that around later as well. There's still a lot more I want to do in my coffee area. I think I want to add in some hedges and maybe trees as well to give it a little bit more private feel. My house, I've lumped lots of trees around them because I still want to have that comfortable feeling with my landowners inside, that nice fresh smell of fruit in the morning. Now, as I said earlier, I wanted to put the paving slabs back, and this is what I've done. So I've created a diagonal path down. I put a lot more paths back into this area leading up to the different machines, and I've spread the machines around a lot more. I've added more trees in here, specifically apple trees and a few cherry trees, and I'm really satisfied with the appearance. I've used my rose arch, I've added in some brick walls to create a kind of boxed in area as well, with again a more diagonal feel. And I'm so satisfied with this. The only thing I need to consider now is, do I want my apple trees to be taller, or should I leave them small like that? Now, I will be hiding the ocean area, I think, so I'm going to basically grow those back trees a lot taller. But then again, I may not. Down here, I've created a little relaxation area where I've got my barbecue as well. And those trees I will be harvesting the fruit from because I want them to be taller. Here are my pets, so I'm really satisfied with the way that looks, and I do like the way they all sit by the side of the road. It's cool to actually see what all my pets look like in one straight line now. So if you want to see which pets I've got, please do come and have a look. Okay, I'm satisfied now with the way that my goat pens are balanced up there as well. I've got my pig pen there as well. I've put my machines to the side here just for producing my animal feed, because I think that's a good central position. I've added in more trees and bushes to this one area as well, and the design is coming along fantastically. Now, as you can see, I'm just showing off some images here, so I'm hoping you're liking what you've seen as well. Now, it took me quite some time, as I said, but it looks good. Now, okay, as I said, I wanted to keep this area simple, but I've actually added in some more trees at the back there to give it a more border-like feel. And I've even added a gnome house with a little wood pile and the mushroom stump, just to give my little gnome family something that they can relax and sit on or maybe burn, and it looks good up against the silo. Now, at the moment, okay, the numbers are in the way, so I'll try and show you that one a little bit later. Or better still, why not come and have a look at my farm and zoom in into the different areas. Okay, there you go. So my gnome house is just there at the back, and doesn't it look so cool? Wonder if they're happy there. It's a nice peaceful location. Right, there's still quite a little bit more I want to do. I'm thinking about maybe adding some more trees into the center. Okay, I've put my hay bale down there by my donkey and horses. I've also added the horse cart as well, and I think that's actually a good balance. I've added another hay bale to a different location, and I'm really satisfied. Now, I got to the stage now where everything there is done to a certain extent. Now, many of you already know as well that I've been redesigning my town. Now, let's just show you what it looks like for those of you who haven't actually seen my town. Now, I've got this beautiful image that I created before that was given to me by another person. Now, at some stage within the next week or so, I'm going to be changing this again. So if you would like to see my town change, do give me some ideas or suggestions as well. How would you like me to modify this? What kind of imagery would you like me to do in this area? Because I do want to change this as well. Now another area that we do have is the fishing area. I'm going to show you what my fishing area looks like for those of you who haven't seen it as well. Now there's nothing you can really change in the fishing area, and at some stage in the future I really do hope that Supercell adds this option in, because I'd love to be so creative, add more trees in, maybe if we had some kind of ornaments or decorations we can move around. To a certain extent I wish we could move these machines as well, because okay, I know they're fixed there, but there's nothing I can really do in this area except fish or harvest, and I want to be able to do more. Maybe just to put something else down around the outside would be really cool. So this is a whole new concept area that could be added in at some stage in the future. Now as you can see, okay, everything is maxed out, but there's still a lot more I can expand here, and one area I can expand is my toolbox, and a lot of people forget about this. Now your toolbox is really important, especially when you're making lures. Now at the moment I've got 160 and I want to make it 165, so let's press that green tick mark, and here we go. Woohoo! I just upgraded a game. So 165 now, and I'm going to need another 24 nows before I can do the next one. Not a problem. Oh, I'm getting close to maxing out on that machine. I wonder. How about this one? Oh god, no, a long way to go there. Okay, you can't max out that anymore, Ricky. Why are you even checking? Okay, I've got lots of nets there, so I'll pick those fish later. Okay, right, that's the end of this video. As you've seen, I've talked a little bit about me redesigning my farm. Please do pop along, have a look. In the comments, please do make opinions and leave your opinions. Let me know if you like it or not. Okay, see you all next time, and goodbye.